Fantasy Football Hub have extended their huge 50% discount on their annual packages until the Gameweek 3 deadline. By becoming a member, you'll gain access to one of the biggest FPL communities, with extensive Opta stats, player comparisons, fixture tickers, planning spreadsheets, community WhatsApp groups, and even team reveals every game week from some of the world's best FPL managers. To receive this huge half-price discount, simply click the link in the description box below and get signed up before the Gameweek 3 deadline. Hey guys, and welcome back to FPL TV. Before looking to Game Week 3, my team lineup and transfer activity, let's first see how the team got on in Game Week 2. My transfer in last week was Erling Haaland for Harry Kane, with Man City having that enticing home fixture against Bournemouth. I brought Haaland in specifically to captain him for that one after his 2 goals against West Ham in the opener, and he managed just the 1 assist in a 4-0 win. Of course, getting a captaincy return was better than nothing, but still, I have to consider myself fairly unlucky there, considering Kane didn't score when Tottenham bagged 4 goals last week, and then neither did Haaland despite Man City scoring 4 as well. To make things worse, Kane then went on to score away to Chelsea, so not the outcome I was hoping for. If only Foden had squared it to Haaland in the first half. His teammate Cancelo did rack up an 11-pointer in that fixture though, so a decent return there from the 2 City assets. Elsewhere from the 3 PM kickoffs, it was my 2 Arsenal assets that racked up the large majority of my FPL points for the game week, with Gabriel Jesus producing a monster 19-point haul, being involved in all 4 goals that Arsenal scored. Martinelli at his budget price also scored, for him the 2nd game week running, and looks continually dangerous. A great pairing offering superb value with great fixtures ahead. Of course, with Arsenal scoring 4, that was always going to be bad news for my Leicester goalkeeper Ward, but he did manage 1 save point at least, so better than nothing considering he did concede 4. The only other return of the game week for me was from Reece James, who in honesty I wasn't expecting too much from in that difficult game against Spurs. He opened his goal scoring account in only the 2nd game of the season and should have had an assist to his name too, a player that I'm very happy to have started the season with. Nothing again for Mason Mount in that fixture though sadly, 2 blanks from 2 for him, and we'll speak about that later. One player that I'm certainly not happy to have started the season with however is Leon Bailey, who at a budget 5 million was always going to be a bit of a wild card pick. With good fixtures to begin the season and with promising pre-season form, he looked worthy of a punt at a bargain price, but safe to say it's not gone well. It appears he's lost his starting place in just the 2nd game week, and the fixtures do now start to turn for Villa, so he may be the biggest weak link in my squad currently, and that has to take priority in my transfer business. After a decent enough game week thus far, I still had my Liverpool triple up to go on the Monday night, notably with the defensive double up of Trent and Robertson to really make it a great game week. Sadly though, it was blanks from both again, and Luis Diaz was the one to bring home the points, a player that I had throughout all of pre-season, but then switched to Robertson in the last few days, so an outcome I really did not want. In the days before the Game Week 1 deadline, I made a lot of sacrifices elsewhere to fit Robertson into my side, including opting for the 4 million Leicester keepers over the likes of Ederson, so I really need him to start delivering soon. I am still a big fan of this defensive double-up though, and will continue sticking by them for the time being. So for Game Week 2, a decent score of 66. Nothing game-changing, nothing noteworthy, but a respectable score, and certainly progress from Game Week 1. 66 was 9 points above the average score, and gave me a huge rank rise of 1.2 million places, from 3.9 million to 2.7. Of course, looking at the opening 2 game weeks as a whole, it's certainly been a poor start overall, but Game Week 2 was at least progress, and despite having a very high rank which doesn't have much significance at the moment, it was nice at least to take a big chunk out of that and make a significant climb. On the whole, I still think my squad looks fairly solid, so let's hope the climb continues in Game Week 3. With that, let's move on to the next game week now, and discuss some transfers as well as my potential team lineup. Also, if you are a regular viewer of FPL TV but haven't yet got yourself subscribed, then please consider doing so now, it really helps support the channel. You can also hit the notification bell so you always know when a new FPL video goes live. There's been 1 confirmed free transfer this game week, with as mentioned Leon Bailey taking priority for my transfer activity. Regretfully, to begin this season, I left myself with nothing in the bank and therefore very unflexible when it came to finding a replacement, with therefore just 5 million to spend. Then, during midweek on Tuesday, a lot of price prediction websites had Bailey down as dropping in price, and therefore I found myself pressured into making a bit of a rush transfer, so in came Leicester's Dewsbury Hall at 5 million. To be honest, my initial preferred option here was Brentford's Josh Da Silva, simply because at the time he was 4.5 million, and notably downgrading to a 4.5 option would have then freed up 0.5 million. This useful extra $500,000 would then have allowed me to upgrade one of my 4 million goalkeepers in a future game week, which definitely had its appeal. Sadly though, during the middle of the game week, before the games on Sunday were even played, Da Silva rose to 4.6 million and I simply couldn't risk making the transfer that early. Once he did rise to 4.6, the appeal was a lot less for me, as most notably, it wouldn't have then freed up the desired 0.5 million that I wanted. I did look at other 4.5 million options, but just didn't like any of them, so I settled on Dewsbury Hall at 5 instead. Am I overjoyed with this move? Well, not really. But I do believe he is one of the best 5 million options available, and unlike Leon Bailey, is at least a solid, reliable squad option that is near guaranteed of starts. Leicester do also boast a decent home fixture against Southampton this game week, so although at 5 million I won't be expecting much from Dewsbury Hall, there isn't many better fixtures available to perhaps get a return in. So with that transfer confirmed, let's see how the squad now lines up. Overall, despite some regret on opting for the 2 cheap Leicester goalkeepers, for this game week at least, I'm very happy with how the entire squad lines up, and I'll be hoping that Leicester can maybe hold on to a clean sheet here at home to Southampton. As for Mason Mount, one of my key differentials, well, there's no doubting he's been below par in the opening 2 game weeks. But notably, Chelsea's upcoming run of fixtures do look very appealing. The plan for me is to give Mason Mount at least 1 or 2 more game weeks to prove his worth, who in past seasons has been known to be a bit of a flat track bully. A disappointing option so far, but very happy to hold him for this Leeds fixture. One of my other key differentials at 10% ownership is Andy Robertson, and the same applies to him as it does to Mount. I still trust him as an option for now and have no intention to sell him this game week. His opponents United have started in very poor form with very low goal threat, so a good chance for the Liverpool defence to bounce back here. Fingers crossed. I think the issue with owning Robertson though isn't that he's not a good option, but simply that there's a lot of good value cheaper defenders emerging elsewhere, so if he does continue to underwhelm, then he's one of my only realistic routes to release some funds. It's likely I'll keep him until I use the first wildcard, with Liverpool still having great fixtures, but things change quickly in FPL, so let's take it week by week. On paper, for game week 3, I'm really liking all 11 fixtures for my starting squad here, so let's hope it's a strong game week. Of course, a big part of a successful game week will come down as usual to the captaincy, and unlike the first 2 game weeks, where placing the armband was very straightforward, game week 3 is a lot more difficult, with me being torn on 3 options in Mo Salah, Jesus and Haaland, all away from home. With Liverpool's convincing record against United in the past few seasons, and considering how poorly United have started this year, for now the armband does sit with Mo Salah, and I'm hoping that without Darwin Núñez in the squad who's suspended, that may see Salah soak up a lot more big chances, which Núñez has been hogging when he's on the field. The toxic atmosphere surrounding United could also play its part in this fixture, because if Liverpool do score early, the fans could turn very quickly and Liverpool may sense blood. There has, however, been lots of talk online that a big protest is being organised among supporters for this game though, and therefore some rumours doing the rounds that the game could be at threat of being postponed. Unlikely, but certainly something I'll be watching out for personally, and why the captaincy this week will likely go down to the wire. So that's how my team currently lines up for game week 3, but if there are any further changes before the deadline, including the captaincy which isn't quite locked in yet, then as usual I'll post my final team over on Twitter shortly before the deadline hits. If you enjoyed the video, then be sure to leave a like and most importantly get subscribed to FPL TV. You can also hit the notification bell so you always know when a new video goes live. Also, if you didn't see it already, yesterday I uploaded the Game Week 3 Fixture Watch episode, which gives you perspective on the upcoming fixtures for all the teams over the next 5 game weeks. An informative video I think, so if you want, you can go and watch that now by clicking the thumbnail on screen. Good luck to you all for the upcoming game week, FPL responsibly, and I'll catch you all very soon.